Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel, Z here, and in this video today we're going to be taking a look at the Asus TUF VG27BQ. So this right here is a gaming monitor. It goes all the way up to 165 Hz. The standard refresh rate of this monitor, so the standard Hertz, is 155, but you can overclock it to 165 Hz. And you would overclock it by simply tapping on a few buttons in the back here. So this is a TN panel. Now, I always thought that this was an IPS panel, but until actually looking at the specs, I found out that this was a TN panel. That's how beautiful this panel is. Now, this is a 2K resolution monitor, so you have 2560 by 1440. If you're looking to play your games on a nice 2K panel, this would be it, at obviously a high refresh rate, or higher than standard. So I believe the standard is like 60 Hz. Gamers, or at least competitive gamers today, try to go higher than the 60 Hz standard refresh rate. So at the time of purchasing this monitor, I paid about $500 for it, and that's Canadian. Now, I believe they are selling this currently for around $399 US on Amazon.com. So I will have links to that in the description below. So if you guys wanted to purchase this after watching this video, make sure to check out the description of this video, and I'll have links to where you can purchase this on Amazon, this exact model that is. So taking a closer look at the monitor, as you can see, it does have a plastic shell, which is to be expected. You're obviously not going to be carrying this in the hand because this is a monitor, but it is sturdy. So the monitor does turn all the way right 90 degrees as well as the left 90 degrees. You can also raise and lower the monitor. It does raise and lower about 6 inches, and you also have the 30-degree angle tilt up and down. One more thing you can do with the monitor is you can turn it to a vertical position. So generally speaking, you're going to be using this monitor in a horizontal view, but if you wanted to use this in a vertical view, you do get that option. So on the back of the monitor, you have 2 HDMI ports as well as a display port and a headphone jack. You also have the Kensington lock, which most people don't use, and you also have the power DC in, and that is the power port. That's pretty much where you're going to plug in the power adapter in order to power this monitor up. The monitor does have a VESA mount, so if you wanted to remove the base from this monitor, you simply remove the rubber frontlets that are covering up the 4 screws holding the standard base, and then you just replace it with whichever mount you want to use. Now, for those wondering, the wallpaper in the background of this desktop, I am using Wallpaper Engine. It is a Steam application, and you can easily purchase it off Steam for around $3.99. That's $3.99. Taking a closer look at the thinness, or rather thickness, of this monitor, it is quite thick, but it doesn't really get in the way of my play style, or rather it doesn't really take up that much extra space. This is kind of to be expected because you are getting that extra refresh rate. So anytime you're boosting extra hertz out of a monitor, it does tend to be a little bit thicker. Again, like I said before, this monitor can be overclocked to 165 Hz by just tapping on a few buttons in the back of the monitor. So you get a total of 4 buttons and then 1 joystick button. You also do have some other menu options that you can customize, which I don't really use. This monitor does also support G-Sync, and it has eLMB, which I'm not really too familiar with. All I do know is that if you have an NVIDIA video card, then you will get some benefits with the G-Sync because it does match up the frame rates with the refresh rate, and you can look more into that in deeper detail if you search it up on YouTube, or rather Google. So anyway, yeah, so I paid around $500 for this at the time of purchasing it, and I am very, very happy with this monitor. I initially thought that this was an IPS display. That's how beautiful the colors are on this TN panel. I've owned other TN panels in the past. I was not happy at all with them. So the ones I've owned before were 2 by Acer and then 1 by AOC. So I was not happy with those TN or the VA panels. If you guys are familiar with the whole panel on displays, TN is pretty much the most washed out type color, but you do get the fastest response timing on the monitor. IPS is the slowest, but you do get the most saturation, the nicest, darkest blacks, and the whitest whites, if I'm not mistaken. And then VA is the one in middle. But like with all things, there are good and bad TN panels. So this, in my opinion, is a very good TN panel. You can tell by just looking at the richness of the colors, the saturation. This definitely looks like an IPS panel to me, especially when I compare it to other monitors that I've owned in the past, which were TN. So the viewing angles on this monitor are quite decent if you ask me. If you look all the way to the left or to the right, you won't notice much of a color shift. The monitor colors are pretty solid from all angles. The monitor does have integrated speakers, but they do sound very tinnish, so I wouldn't recommend using the monitor as your speaker system since, again, the sound, it does sound very tinny. Overall, I would highly recommend this monitor. I'll post this model and some other models, very similar models, in the description of this video, so make sure to check that out. Otherwise, that's going to be it for this review. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.